Well, hello everyone. I have right here of talking about right here of wanting to impress right here of talking about the internet right here, and I know a lot of us will probably say too that yeah, if you're going to be doing any sorts of designs right here, right, and like everybody might even say too that yeah, you go ahead and work this poster design right here, but then the idea that I came up with right here was actually talking about the internet right here. And like everybody might even say too that, how often do we really hear about that? From back in early of 1995 right here, and like everybody says, to where that the one most popular gadget back in early at 94, 95, of course. I'm like, oh yeah, do we? Did most of us even know what the internet was then compared to the radio? Newspapers and maybe podcasts or anything, any other source of a technology like that, for streaming service, right? But talk about over here with the internet right here. So it sure seems that way that, back whenever I was in school, by the way, that, everybody might say that, if you want to go ahead and look up something, by the way, or if you want to go ahead and do any research or work on something, that you would go to the library for that, right? They didn't have, the internet, during that time. So it's like, now it's like, you want to know too is toward that the internet, the internet is basically a network to where you can actually connect on, connect online, and you can connect, you can talk to people like, oh yeah, you can talk and text and do all this other stuff on the 5G and all that, but still that, but you have right here of talking about with these designs right here. I'm like with the group of students right here, and but you see right here that I include right here is a painted picture right here of a tower right here, like a little antenna right here. So if we look real closely at this right here, you'll be able to see right here. It looks just a little bit like like a little light or something like that. But you would have a circle right here, a small circle, and then a bigger circle right here. It would represent for like a signal, and so everybody, anybody might even say that talking about designing any sorts of logo design and talking about is like when we do speak about the internet, right? And 102, yeah, what exactly is the internet? And so it's like, you didn't get introduced to it until of 1995, but whenever you do think about that, and 102, that okay, yeah, that way, I'm like, yeah, places where you go, you need to have, for internet connection, right? But still, that there was also radio too. There was also radio, and so you're thinking as toward that whenever you do think about the internet, a lot of times that how many of us have really thought about that toward it a good definition for the internet then compared to anything. I'm like, yeah, if they ask you to explain anything really, and it's like yeah, was the internet really? I'm like, has anybody really asked you to where that could you explain what the internet is? And like everybody say that, well, it's just like a typical phone line. If you're going to be connected to like on a phone line, like any sort of landline, and if you can really look at it that way, to where it's having an actual home phone landline is basically another way of how to describe the use of the internet. But you see right here, talking about the internet, right? So if I were to go ahead and use maybe the paint tool right here and like do the underline right here of the internet right here. You see this right here of talking about the internet right here? And everybody might say that if you were to actually do the studies about typical, English right here, and 102 that you would underline this right here is like talking about for the main topic right here, the internet, right? The internet is basically is the networking connection, right? But it's like yeah, so but can we also look at maybe live broadcast and maybe 5G or maybe radio as pretty much the same thing, to where that you are able to that you're getting service. So you're getting a signal through a certain location, right? And so it's like everybody might say that you want to impress the world with something, and you might say is to where okay, yeah, impress the world by the internet. A lot of us might say that by the internet. I have right here talk about for the research right here, but it seems like everybody might even say that okay, yeah, if you can connect to the internet just by using your typical smartwatch or something like that, talk about for cool stuff, right? But it's like, yeah, so each time you do think about that, and everybody might even say that, really, nobody's really going to want to be your friend, really, if you don't have something real cool to talk to them about or something like that. Yeah, if you don't have anything cool to show them. But, still, it's like, the way I was growing up, too, it was like, who really, if you want to make friends, you would need to show them something cool, something fantastic, right? So it's like, if it's a fancy cookbook or something like that, for sure that, you would want to go ahead and show them something cool. And, so I know that, like, everybody might even say that, besides glow-in-the-dark shoes or something like that, you would actually, show them an example of, that this is how you connect to the internet. And so if you're going to be talking to somebody in class, right, and they might say that, this is one way of how you can connect to the networking right here is just by, people might say is to where the one way that you can connect you to the network right here. And read the codes or something like that, or you go ahead and you do like a symbol right here for the background right here that represents for the internet right here. So this symbol right here looks just a little bit like everybody say, other than the magic wand or something like that, anything magical about that, but talk about the internet right here. So if everybody were to say that, we're talking about the internet right here. So if I were to actually highlight that and do like maybe like what you call maybe duplicate duplicate copy or something like that, but if anything, just highlight that. But still, you got the internet right here, and so it's like internet. If you were to actually break that down right here, I'm like people might say that if you were to break that down for sure, what do you think they would say? The internet, and so if you were to actually do the experiment right here in like your 102, the interface right here, internet right here. So if you would actually do like a little experiment with it in 102, internet right here. Really, what is it? It's another way of how you want to call it, as toward where you can actually you have your own personal line. I'm like, everybody might say if you were to actually break that down into different syllables or something like that, the internet right here. And so it's like, so if I were to actually break that down, I'm like, put different spaces right there. And it sure seems that way that, people might say if you were to explain to your teachers about, okay, what does that mean right there? What is that? That says internet right there. The internet, it's basically another way of how you want to call it Teams, or like if you want to call it as to where that, maybe 10 or more 10 or more invites can connect to the same line. And you're able to share things, and you're able to talk about things and interact with them. And like everybody say, internet. Why didn't you just call it, the Power Pro interface or something like that? But like everybody say, especially whenever it comes to the 5G networking and something like that. But like everybody might say that when we do think about the internet, by the way, that if you were to spell that, like if you were to say that and pronounce that, and 102 that, yeah, internet right here, the internet, and so each time you think about that, and you want to know too, that okay, yeah, that's pretty popular, and like everybody says, toward it, what do you think that your research would necessarily be about if you were to do the studies about the internet right here, and toward it, yeah, that you thought that it was broken, like everybody might say that, people would maybe want to talk to you if you find something. I'm like, yeah, you show them something new for sure, and they're going to say that, okay, that's cool. But still, if you were to start a conversation with anybody for sure, you go ahead and put like a little symbol right here that represents for like maybe for a signal or something like that, or some source of connection. And then you would say on there, the internet right here. And so everybody might say that, yeah, the internet right there, but, still, that working on that, and 102, that, okay, yeah, that anybody who doesn't know anything about it, what is that? What is that? What does that mean? What does that do? And all that, but still, that so everybody might say that you first started out with you're doing illustration paintings right here before you go ahead and work this right here. This right here was supposed to be like an advertisement right here, and everybody would even say too that okay, yeah, an advertisement, right? And 102 that yeah, you go ahead and paint a picture right here of these right here are supposed to be examples of classmates right here, and you're 102 that yeah, that not everybody could see what you were working on, number one. So it's like everybody might say is toward that before you even mentioned the internet, by the way, that you were actually working at a desk. You were working at a desk with about a group of about maybe 4 other students, and they say is toward it, before you were even introduced to the internet, by the way, this is how you were doing your work right here. You were actually painting a picture right here, and actually doing like a little shape right here that represents for the globe right here, for the worldwide right here, your trusted relationship. But still, they're talking about with the internet right here. But everybody might even say that, yeah, if you want to go ahead and include right here, somewhere right here on this artboard right here, where you can include, 5G right here. So like everybody say that, nowadays, that's, everybody's going to be talking about, yeah, dial up, and, they're going to be talking about DSL connection, but mainly it's 5G right here. 5G networking right here. So yeah, so if you know of a lot, like everybody else might say that, yeah, and it sure seems that way. Nobody really want to talk to you or be your friend unless if you show them something cool, right? And a lot of times it's like, yeah, back whenever you were much younger, for sure, that you would want to show somebody something just to get them to like you for any reason at all. Like everybody, I'm sure we've all been there before, right? Even if you change the colors up just a little bit, you want to go ahead and, you were that desperate for something, you would go ahead and just show somebody something. And like, ain't that neat right there? And so yeah. So you would actually, what exactly do you think that you would necessarily show them? Like, well, instead of doing your homework, by the way, you were doing commercial ads. Like everybody say that, yeah, commercial ads. You would do commercial ads right here, and but still, it's like, so if you were to actually do commercial ads that show something like 5G networking right here, the internet right here, you would be spending nearly you'll be spending 5 hours working there in the library, showing people, showing somebody some of the stuff right here in 102. That if you were to actually stamp that on some of your work, by the way, maybe not everybody's really going to know what that is, but if we could all see this right here, it shows 5G networking right here. Explain that. So it's like, So a lot of times it's like every time you think about that, and you want to know too that 5G. Can you explain that? And I could be honest with everybody here. I don't remember any teachers explaining to me about what that means right there, what that is. 5G networking, the internet. Not everybody knew what that was during the time. So one way, like everybody else would say, is toward the one thing that you can do, of course, is that you can actually show somebody what you put together, right? Like everybody say, yeah, 5G right here, but then still, what you put together right here is a group of 4 students right here, and people might say that, do you think that you would want to use this as an example right here of the internet right here, to where it's another way of how you're able to connect, right? It's all about a connection. It's all about the way of how you can connect and interact with on the networking, right? So whenever we do talk about logos and all, like everybody who doesn't know about the internet and anybody who doesn't know about 5G networking and you want to know too that I would like to know too that you are able to get it for free. You can get it for free. You can get this. You can get the service for free. Like everybody says, for sure. You can get it for free. Everybody might say that you can get it for free as long as you are willing to train somebody on how to use it. Right? If you can go ahead and give somebody some knowledge on how it works, for sure. And I'm sure, like a lot of teachers would say too, that if you don't have access to that, for sure, I am willing to give you free training. I'm willing to give this to you for free, as long as you do this for me, something like that. So it's like, So a lot of times it's like, like everybody might say that you got like a class of 4 people right here, and 102 is toward Nobody really wanted to be your friend unless if you go ahead and show them something. Nobody wanted to be your friend unless if you showed them something cool, something like that. But it's like, so it's like, cool, right? So it's like, so every time you do think about that, and you're 102 that, you're cool, so every time you do think about that, and you're 102 that, not everybody wanted to be your friend right away just because of the fact that, for that reason at all, is that, cool, free, 5G, or something like that. So if I were to place all these texts right here, and everybody, I say the two is to where, so if you were to do that for sure, and, cool, or, super speed or something like that, super power. Yeah, superpower, and, nobody wanted to be your friend for sure unless if you had any source of superpower. For sure, unless if you had any source of talent or superpower, nobody wanted to be your friend. So it's like, so it's like, the way you think about that for sure, and want to know too that, so the way you think about that, and want to know that, people want to know too that why are you spending so much time working on some of that stuff, and maybe everybody else might say that what you really are trying to say is that they didn't quite understand during the time what you were doing until they realized what it was. So it's like, so every time you do think about that, if you were to put that in alphabetical order for sure, that, if you were to actually read that randomly, you had these texts on, where you got right here with me right here, superpower, cool, free, 5G. So if you were to do this, like, if you were to put this together, like, for any source of advertisement, for sure, that, you want to know, too, that, if somebody were to ask you to do the research about that, by the way, they'll probably say is toward it, yeah, well, I don't understand, why you were spending so much time with it, knowing as to where, but still, it's like, but nowadays it seems like as to where that's, like everybody says, to where is that really, if that's really required, and like if you can get it for free or something like that, but still, so every time you do think about that, and you want to know too, yeah, the internet, that have any teachers really explained to you about what is the internet? And I'll tell them that no, they haven't. By the way, I didn't get introduced to it until, I got introduced to the email, by the way, but still, back in 1995, it was my mom and dad both. It was my dad, and I'm like, oh yeah, people say is toward it whenever you were first introduced to the internet, by the way, that you actually heard about it. You were on the computer, but still, everybody might say that if you could explain anything about anything for any reason at all, that like everybody says, to where do you think that you would need to explain about maybe 12 sentences about anything that you were talking about, and but it's like, yeah, somebody asks you to explain this, and 102 that, okay, yeah, the internet, yes, that's right, Mom, that's right, Dad, the internet. The internet is, the internet is a source of connection. It's a network. And like everybody says toward it, so yeah, so if you were to add multiple text right here, and people would say to you, yeah, connect. So to me, though, it's like, yeah, like everybody say that, you all know what a telephone line is, right? You all know what a telephone is. If you know what a telephone is, that you would know what the internet is. That's it's a way of, it's basically, it's a superpower. Like everybody might say that, back whenever you were a student, by the way, and back whenever you were I'm like, yeah, like everybody say that, if you would have been introduced to this a long time ago, for sure, I'm sure, like everybody say, that's the stuff that we count on every day, just to be able to do our jobs and just to be able to communicate, right? But every time you do think about that, and you're 102, that don't you think that there would be like a logo design or something like that that would show, like, yeah, why are you spending so much time on it? Why are you spending so much time on it? And even if you did, that, why can't we get it for free or something like that? But still, it's like, people might say, yeah, well, it works. And, so, like everybody say that, that's the main point to what I got right here. Talk about my research right here. So, like everybody say that, yeah, well, as long as it works, for sure. Somebody, by the way, is going to maybe 102 that if you get something to work, if you get the connection to work, by the way, they're going to spend so much time on it for sure. But everybody might even say that, from back in 1995, that they relied on an antenna, or that they had to rely on a typical dial-up phone line or something like that to dial up, just to be able to get that connection. But every time you do think about that, and you 102 that has anybody explained to you about what the internet is? And you 102 is toward it. Well, really, that maybe why. That's the reason maybe why that maybe you would put together a logo design right here to explain what it is right here. Whenever it comes to helping somebody understand what it is right here. What is the internet connection right here? And so that's why it seems like whenever you do think about the internet right here, and 102 that okay, yeah, the internet. The internet is basically, it's like an interface right here, but still that not everybody really has explained to me about what that is. It's basically, it's another word of saying is to where it's allowing you to where you can connect to another computer. Okay, yeah, you're able to connect to the networking whenever you go live. Whenever you connect to the interface. Whenever you connect to the networking, you actually connect to a different to the network, right? Whenever you use the internet service, and that is why it seems like everybody might say that you spend so much time working on that, and 102 that like everybody say is toward okay, yeah, anything cool that you want to show to anybody, and 102, talking about the internet, right? But it's like back then that one thing that you could tell everybody about the use of a computer, like yeah, is about your artwork, right? About your artwork, and everybody might say that okay, yeah, about your artwork. What about your artwork? It was about the fact about you go ahead and bring your artwork to life. You go ahead and show everybody, yeah, this right here is my artwork right here. This is a painting right here of me along with one of the students I was working with during the time. And, you try to draw that picture right there is to where your viewers can understand what exactly is it that they're doing in that picture. So you go ahead and paint the picture right there. But then it's like, yeah, the source of communication, right? And 102, yeah, you paint that's me right there. And 102, that you go ahead and read the person the directions on what they need just to be able to connect to the internet. And so it's like, yeah, so if you were to actually paint right there, there's a symbol right here that shows a connection right here. And like everybody might say, is toward that during that time, that it was optional, but like everybody say that a lot of things about the networking nowadays, it's like a lot of it is required, by the way. Like everybody might say that, from back in 95, of course, a lot of that stuff was optional, but still, most of it is required now, but still, that whenever you do paint a picture, by the way, it's like, you go ahead and paint a picture right here, and 102 that you go ahead and paint a picture of somebody standing right there, and like if you want to talk about anything, by the way, it might as well be about the internet, besides the game, or puzzle book or something like that, but about the internet. You go ahead and talk about the internet. What about the internet that you want to show me, and so it's like So my job for here is mainly going to be about putting together the artwork, just to show everybody about, picture us if we're going to be in class together, Yeah, this right here is supposed to be a picture of us, of all four of us right here, if we're working at a job right here, at a job site. And, this is what we were working on right here. And so it's like, So every time you do think about that, by the way, and I want to know too that it makes a little bit more sense now just because that you explained it. But everybody say you're researching everything, but still that when we talk about 5G network and when we do talk about free and the internet, right? Everybody might say if you were to actually spell that, by the way, internet right here. Everybody might say that, internet, back in the day, that if anybody mentioned about the internet, by the way, that it was another, like everybody says, to where, internet right here. Why does that sound so much like insurance, by the way? Everybody might say, if you were to actually think about that, the internet, right? Do you think that you would be thinking about a party line, or do you think that you would maybe be thinking about insurance, or do you think you would be thinking about a team? Internet. The internet basically means the team, the softball team or something like that. But I don't know if you would really be thinking about, the internet. You know what the internet is, don't you? Yeah, that's the internet, the baseball team. If that's what you're talking about. No, not the ball, not the not the team, not the football team, or not the team, but the internet, the network connection right there, the connection right there, and so I can be honest with everybody here that back when I was younger, that the teacher would probably tell you too that if you can promote the products for sure, that you will be known for for the superpower for sure. Like everybody say that yeah, superpowers. Don't we all dream about having a superpower? By the way, anything magic, right? But everybody might even say too that if you can get something to work, by the way, knowing about any sorts of superpower that you could probably think about. Everybody might say, yeah, superpower, superpower. A superpower. Really, what is a good example of a superpower? You want to know too is that, superpower pretty much means that, it worked for you, but it didn't work for them. And, so everybody might say that, yeah, well, not everybody likes wearing glasses, by the way, but like everybody might say that, yeah, do you think that you would want to use glasses or maybe like any sort of outfit or something like that? But yeah, a superpower. But anyway, but yeah, it's like so each time you do think about that, then 102 that the internet, but still, you do like a little source of advertisement or logo design right there that represents, for the internet right there. And want to know too that okay, yeah, the internet, your research is the internet right there. And but on the other hand, that when we do speak about the internet, that not everybody's really going to know how that works, and not everybody's really going to know too much about that, so that's why it seems like people might say is toward yeah, you can maybe even tell somebody that yeah, while you were sleeping that there's been upgrades going on, or yeah, like everybody might say is toward yeah, what sorts of superpower do you think that I'm like yeah, your ability for what you can do, right? And this is one thing that I was like wanted to know too, that yeah, while you're resting, for sure, while you're resting, that you think about things, and you're always want to know too that yeah, you're not really you're not working while you're sleeping, for sure. You're thinking while you're sleeping, right? So a lot of times it sure seems that way. That one way of you can tell anybody that you're able to do some of your work just by if you're going to have a tablet or maybe your iPhone handy or something like that, and like, yeah, remote, work remote. And I could put that on here real quick right here. Like everybody say, yeah, remote. Remote control right here. I don't know if, I really don't know if remote control is really a superpower. I really don't know if remote control is really considered to be a superpower or not, but remote control was the type of stuff that I was raised with. Remote control cars, remote control to the television set. So like everybody might say that yeah, anything about remote jobs and all that stuff, and you want to know too that do you think that remote control, yeah, visual control, remote control, is that really supposed to be an example of a superpower? So like everybody say that if you were to do like an advertisement right there, place, yeah, remote control right there. It all looks kind of busy right there, but the way we think about it, everybody's going to maybe say that, can you please explain what all that is right there? Like you have right here remote control, you got superpower, you got cool, free 5G networking right here. So not everybody's really going to know what all this means right here until maybe if you explain a little bit what you're talking about. So it's like, let's just find out, 10 years, 10 years from now or so, 5 years from now, that they're going to probably have something different, and 102 is toward it you're able to do a job just by doing remote work. And 102, yeah, remote control. And 102, do you really consider that to be cool or not? And everybody might say is toward it, yeah, that, the internet. You were asked to do a paper talking about the internet right here. Why are people spending so much time with it? Like, and yeah, well, for sure. If you can actually show somebody how it works, for sure, everybody might say that the number of hours that you spent in the lab, by the way, in the classroom or in the lab, they'll probably even tell you that, okay, yeah, you spend so much time doing all this artwork right here, doing your graphic design work right here, but can you please show somebody else some of this stuff? Yeah, please show somebody how something works, and for sure, they'll tell you for sure, yeah. If you show somebody how something works, for sure, they'll say, yeah. If that is an example of a superpower there, you go ahead and show somebody how something works, because everybody might say is toward it, yeah. That more likely is the best chances of you for you being able to get registered. I'm like, yeah, register for the job, and then maybe to where you are qualified, to be able to answer some of those questions. And so every time you do think about it, and you always want to know too that a lot of that stuff that you thought that was all what you call not reality, it's not real, but still, nowadays it seems like that they say that, yeah, remote control. Remote control is known as it's not a toy, it's a career. So like everybody says toward, if you were to actually look at that as a poster design right there, not everybody's really going to know what that is until you explain it to them, but it's like 102 that, yeah, cool. But, 5G networking and all that. So it's like, yeah, number one, if you're able to show somebody how it works, by the way, yeah, everybody might say that, yeah, can you, explain the internet right there? From back in 1995, that, yeah, nobody knew what that was. Back in the 80s, back in the early 70s, nobody knew what that was, and, that is why it seems like that, you start talking about something, and not everybody's going to know what it is. And maybe that's another reason why that somebody says this toward it. Could you go ahead and show me what you're talking about? But still, I have right here, I talk about the internet, by the way. But everybody says toward, yeah, well, as long as it works, for sure. Well, it needs to work, just for somebody to really, I'm like, yeah. So every time you do think about that, by the way, and everybody says to where, yeah, what's a good way to explain to somebody about, what you were doing? And but at the same time, you want to know too is that, yeah, the internet, by the way, the internet is just another way of saying is toward it. Whenever it comes to understanding about the World Wide Web and understanding, like, yeah, the people that you're talking to, that, if you're not going to have the cool toys and all, but still, the cool gadgets, but still, why can't you just say the library instead of the internet? They had the library during the time, but the internet, 5G networking and all that, but still. But it's like U102 is toward it. What source of superpower do you think they have? But anyway, but talk about right here of talking about whenever it comes to understanding about the internet right here. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.